Thank you, Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Deputy Prime Ministers, the Honorable Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Cabinet Ministers and Assistant Ministers, Honorable Members of Parliament, fellow Fijians watching through Parliamentary TV, live streaming or listening on radio today, good morning, Nisa Yandra and Nisa Mbulabinaka. May I be allowed to say a few words in the vernacular to acknowledge the traditional landowners on the land on which we gather today. Sa waturang sa katiko, kinandunumay buwasa ka na nganturang na tuisuba. Waturang sa katalti nga ay burmbasanga. Para na maramambala na rakatundrakiti na bunibalo. Sa akali sa katiko nanto ka, kina baka binubinaka, yan kena may soli sa katiko nangalala, may kimay buwasa ka, and a nominee so and a bukuibiti and a singandai. I also would like to pay homage to the late father of the coach of the Fiji Sevens team, Osea Kolonisau, who passed away before the start of the last Sevens tournament. Kolonisau battled on despite his father's passing. May Tautala Tuikoro Kolonisau rest in peace. Honorable Speaker, sir, I rise to respond to His Excellency's most gracious and honorable speech, which I support wholeheartedly. My speech is in two distinct parts. With your indulgence, sir, I will provide firstly the basis upon which I support His Excellency's visionary speech, a speech imbued in chiefly and godly wisdom, before I provide a scorecard for the ministry that I am honored to lead in terms of what has been done or being done to operationalize His Excellency's speech. Honorable Speaker, sir, I can say with confidence in this august House that the People's Coalition Government, very ably led by the Honorable Prime Minister, is on the move. His Excellency has called us to build a vision for a future based on sustainability, inclusivity, and resilience. One where every Fijian thrives, our environment is preserved, and we collaborate regionally and globally for peace and shared prosperity. His Excellency exhorts us to work together and stand together, upholding the values of respect, inclusivity, love, and compassion. Honorable Speaker, on working together, I wish to acknowledge my colleagues on the other side of the House and the Leader of Opposition. They have worked together with us when it is good for Fiji and its people. The recent Bill for Aquaculture was passed under Standing Order 51 unanimously in the last sitting, which is a case in point. Honorable Speaker, and this augurs well for the next 2 years as we work together to rebuild Fiji. His Excellency then talks about the government's agenda, which is focused on delivery, addressing the many issues that we have inherited from the previous government: failing infrastructure, crumbling hospitals and health centers, water issues, HIV, drugs, AIDS, etc. But His Excellency also talks about the positive action being taken. Yes, now and again, we will remind our colleagues on the other side of the House about the last 16 years. But what is more important, Honorable Speaker, is our message to the people of Fiji. We acknowledge there are issues and we are fixing them. There is also a major legislative agenda underway, Honorable Speaker. This year, apart from the proposition to make changes to the Constitution and the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, Honorable Speaker, to have any hope of lasting peace in our nation, addressing the ills since 1987 to date through the TRC and correcting the two-man ill-conceived 2013 Constitution by making appropriate amendments will be fundamental. I hope that my colleagues on the other side of the House and the people of Fiji will work together with the People's Coalition to develop a constitution that reflects the will of the people. We have no choice, Honorable Speaker. Before I transition to the second part of my speech, Honorable Speaker, His Excellency also urges us to commit to transformational leadership. This is leadership that that is compassionate, has empathy, and focuses on equity. It is leadership that puts the country first before self and partisan politics, that espouses inclusivity, and is committed to ensuring that as Fiji rises, everyone rises together and no one gets left behind. I hope and pray that this august House embraces the counsel of His Excellency. Honorable Speaker, in the last 27 months, they can see that the economy is in great shape, rebounding from pre-pandemic levels, with growth revised upwards to 3.8% in 2024 and projected to 3.4% in 2025. Foreign reserve sits at 3.7 billion or 5.9 months of import cover. Liquidity in the financial system is 2.2 billion, and private sector lending growth is at 11.84% as at January 2025. Investor confidence is high, Honorable Speaker. The current pipeline is just under 6 billion and has the potential to grow to 10 billion very quickly if some of the recent investment discussions gain traction. Our prudent policies, pro-business approach, and commitment to fiscal discipline have positioned Fiji very well to solidify its position as a trade, investment, aviation, logistics, education, medical, and tech hub of the Pacific. But we are not stopping here, Honorable Speaker. We are laying the architecture of a future economy that is stable, thriving, dynamic, broad-based, with focus on the rural and Tauke economies. To secure Fiji's future, we must press forward with a clear vision in terms of re-engineering the economic architecture for our country. To achieve this, the ministry that I am ordered to lead operates under 5 core deliverables: economic diversification, ease of doing business, digital MSME and cooperatives, digital transformation, and raising standards in Fiji. On economic diversification, Honorable Speaker, when I returned from university in 1989 from Australia, I heard our leaders talk about economic diversification. Over the past 2 years, we have made genuine concerted efforts to diversify our economic base. Our focus has been on the ICT sector, agriculture, aquaculture, value-added manufacturing, a diversified tourism offering, renewable energy, and the blue or green economy. For ICT, the entry of Google and Starlink are game changers in the economy. It will be possible to transition our young men and women to higher paid jobs in the years to come. An independent report commissioned by Google states that the Google investment will generate $680 million of Fijian between 2025 and 2030 and generate 3,600 jobs. The BPO sector will continue to grow from strength to strength. At least 4 new BPO operations have opened in the last 18 months. ANZ and Tau Insurance continue to grow their operations in Fiji. The Lyndhurst Business Park sets to break ground before mid-year and will create on completion a potential 15,000 jobs over 8 years. For commercial agriculture, we have been encouraging private sector players, both foreign and domestic, and local institutional investors. Fiji Water has announced its intent to invest in Fiji, identifying land in Viti Levu and Manoa Kamikamica. They will focus on citrus, mangoes, pawpaw, and possibly watermelons. FNPF and BSP Life now jointly own roasted chicken. Fijian Holdings is also looking at commercial agriculture with various partners. Why commercial agriculture? It might be important to ask, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the plan is to work with these investors to develop smallholder farming models at a rural level using the cooperative model and supplying into these commercial ventures. If this is done successfully, it will revolutionize agriculture and how it develops in Fiji, touching the rural and Tauke communities. The development of medicinal cannabis industry and the nutraceutical industry is a key focus of this government. We have completed consultations and are working on legislation, Honourable Speaker, to be finalized later this year. At least 2 to 3 serious players have approached us. The Ministry is also collaborating with key stakeholders and development agencies to develop the aquaculture sector. The passing of the aquaculture bill has been timely. Our local experts are working on tilapia, prawn, and oyster farming, which we aim to support and develop. We are working with the Minister for Fisheries and Forests on introducing a new mahogany legislation, which will support the growth of the mahogany industry and ultimately become a major industry in Fiji. The return of the 10% share ownership to the landowners is a priority. The Kava bill will be brought forward in this session to transform Kava and realize its potential as a billion-dollar industry for Fiji and the Pacific. For tourism, there are 2 major hotels under construction with jobs set to peak at 1,000 later this year. At least 2 to 3 hotels will come online this year, additional. Total investment will be in excess of Fijian dollars 1 billion. Educational tourism and digital nomads is being evaluated as diversified tourism offerings. Renewable energy opportunities are being progressed in solar, hydrogen, and hydro in keeping with the green transition which is being driven by EFL. We are also supporting affordable housing projects together with the Blue Town initiatives such as recycling and proper waste disposal. Honourable Speaker, the prospects for diversification are significant and very exciting. As part of the economic diversification, Honourable Speaker, the People's Coalition is committed to expand trade relationships and its partnerships with its key partners. Discussions are underway for a proposed comprehensive economic partnership agreement with the UAE and the Pacific Islands, planned to conclude in September, which will boost opportunities for export and investment. Looking to our closest neighbours, Australia and New Zealand, my official visits to Australia and New Zealand last year solidified and renewed the revitalized Vuwale and Dovata partnerships. This commitment to deeper collaboration was further reinforced by the first ever trilateral meeting between Australia, Fiji, and New Zealand in Rotorua. On Placer Plus, we are keen to engage. However, the agreement must be balanced, inclusive, accompanied by targeted support measures to benefit all. We are confident of a win-win proposition for Fiji, Australia, and New Zealand, and hope to conclude this agreement this year. In terms of the EU, after years of deadlock, we have finally been able to make headway on the implementation of tariff liberalization under the Interim Economic Partnership Agreement with the European Union. This was endorsed by Cabinet in 2024 in August. This breakthrough will activate global sourcing for fisheries, which will help PEFCO's exports. It also has opened a conversation about sugar and the assistance to sugar. Honourable Speaker, this side of the House plans to sort out sugar once and for all. We are also in discussions with India and the UK on trade cooperation agreements. In terms of the ease of doing business, we are laser focused on reforms to create more efficient and transparent government. The digitization processes of government have started. We have started the starting a business process where effectively you can start a business online. We have now begun the building permit approval process, which should bring approvals down to 6 months. This will speed up investment churn in the economy, breaking ground faster, and we hope to complete this by November. A national digital strategy is also being finalized, which will provide a roadmap for delivery of services to government and the broader economy. In terms of embedded in this strategy, is a national ID project which is developed in collaboration with the Reserve Bank of Fiji. This initiative is transformative and will make bank account opening easier and give access to government services as well. We are also working with the Minister of Immigration to sort out his immigration challenges. The work permit process is now automated, Honorable Speaker, and we are keen to fully automate the immigration processes in the next 12 to 18 months. It is a work in progress, but it will be sorted. With the MSMEs and cooperatives, Honorable Speaker, it is the backbone of our economy, providing employment and driving innovation. The People's Coalition Government desires to develop a comprehensive support ecosystem for MSMEs and co-ops. A national strategy to support this is being developed together with a database which will be finalized in June this year. In terms of digital transformation, Honorable Speaker, it is a key component of the National Development Plan and critical for our future growth. The National Digital Strategy, as mentioned, will build out our e-government and also evolve the digital economy for our nation. Over the past few years, 2 years, we have worked hard to develop the foundations, especially in our so that our rural and maritime communities can benefit from the digital revolution. We have prioritized the establishment of the Telecommunications Authority Board to be fully functional. The last time it was fully constituted, Honorable Speaker, was in 2013. A strong regulatory body is essential for effective telecommunication services. A program to start connecting the unconnected is underway in April this year and will be coordinated by TAF. The arrival of Starlink and Google has been discussed, and we plan to have 5G in place towards the end of the year. Honorable Speaker, we are focusing on cybersecurity. We are focusing on online scams, and we also have recently joined the We Protect Global Alliance and also formed the National Anti-Pornography Task Force as a means of combating pornography, online sexual exploitation, and abuse. A new online service commissioner has been appointed, and he is busily working on strengthening the current legislation. Honorable Speaker, we also have a national digital e-commerce strategy, and I'm pleased to announce that I've distributed a copy for everyone's reading. Finally, Honorable Speaker, on national standards, we are in the process of endeavoring to raise standards in Fiji, whether it be food safety or building standards, and we expect to see more progress over this year. Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, in my view, the rebuilding of Fiji is well underway. As you can see, Honorable Speaker, there is a lot being done and a lot more to do. I acknowledge the team at the Ministry, the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Shaheen Ali, and the senior leadership, and I also thank Investment Fiji and the statutory bodies and the ministries for their support. His Excellency, the President, challenged us to grow at 5% per annum. In the words of President Obama, Honorable Speaker, yes, we can. The foundations are being laid and are taking shape. The future looks promising. The work ahead will require continued commitment, collaboration, and the will to embrace change. It will demand purpose, resilience in the face of challenges, and an unwavering belief in our collective potential to transform our nation. The priorities I've outlined today, Honorable Speaker, reflect our unwavering determination to build a stronger, more resilient, inclusive economy, one that works for all our people. We will continue our efforts to create jobs, support businesses, strengthen industries, and improve livelihoods. We will foster an environment that encourages innovation, investment, ensuring that the opportunities are accessible to all, regardless of background or circumstance. As Nelson Mandela once said, when we uplift the most vulnerable in our society, we uplift the entire nation. This government is doing exactly that. We are delivering real economic growth, real opportunities, real progress, not just for a privileged few, but for every Fijian. This is not just governance, this is transformation, Honorable Speaker. Our economic agenda is not just about growth, it is about sustainability and long-term prosperity. Our path will not always be easy. We will face obstacles, uncertainties, and moments of doubt. But let us draw strength from our shared vision and our common purpose. Let us remain steadfast in our mission to build a nation that stands strong, a nation that thrives, and a nation that truly works for its people. Honorable Speaker, I support the motion before the House. May God bless our nation. May our work in this chamber be always guided by wisdom, integrity, and the common good. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.